Okay.
Got it.
So kind. I love it. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So welcome. Taste of Success. We're an advanced club, and we're the club where leaders of leaders. Welcome. Thank you so much, Norma, for being here. And do we have any other guests? It's hard to see when sharing screen if we have any
Is
other.
it Yolanda a guest or is she now?
Yolanda is a guest.
Yolanda is a member.
Yeah.
Yolanda, you'll be a member. This is a Jedi mind trick.
Is my member. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Yolanda.
You didn't know that. You didn't know you were a member.
You know, I just get in where I fit in.
Oh my goodness.
I'm honored.
Check your inbox. I just sent you an application.
Signed up for a role. So that shows that.
And if you could complete it and send your dues right back tonight, that'd be good.
Again, I want to say welcome to Taste of Success, Leaders and Leaders. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Oh, but I want to give special thanks. I want to start off by giving special thanks to our officers. You know, I look like, has everybody seen Star Trek? So you know what I'm talking about, Star Trek. So you know, I get to brag, I'm Captain Kirk. I always had a crush on Captain Kirk. So it's fun to call myself Captain Kirk. And guess who Spock is? I call Kirby. Kirby is our Spock because he's so smart. He he logically comes up with things and solutions for us. Linda, she is our medical examiner. And she makes sure we stay healthy. And Andre, he's our security tactical officers. He makes sure he's taking care of our money. He's protecting our money and make sure that nothing comes up missing. And Samantha, she's a communication officer. She's doing a great job of spreading the word about a Taste of Success so that we can get more members. So thank you so much, Samantha. And Dan, I call him our chief engineer because he sets up our locations and gets our mic and cameras and everything set up and going. So I call him, he's our engineer. Since Linda has two roles, I call her our navigator. She's also the secretary.
I love it.
So thank you very much. Officers got trained and we're going to be receiving some money so we can go shopping. And a big, huge thank you to Andre for completing level 5. He received his second DTM. So let's give a warm applause, a standing ovation to Andre.
Oh, wow. Stop it. Stop it.
Speech.
Oh, we just love you, Andre. Oh, not right now, but we'll have you speak later. Save it. I know you'll fill us in. And kudos to Andre for last night, being the introducing and keeping us on track and explaining the role players. And Barb, she explained the evaluation contest ballot, so we'll know what to expect. And oh my goodness, you just missed Rick's explanation on how to prepare for an speech evaluation. He just broke down each area. One of them was analytical and make sure you have your conclusion, make sure you say the words in conclusion. So he gave some great tips. I feel like I'm already a winner. So I'm more confident that I will be able to go up against the big dogs on March the 5th because of Rick Chandler. And Darren did a great job of explaining. So he gave us some tips, also what the issues in preparing giving your evaluation. So you should have been there. He did a great job too. And who else? Yes, you just missed it. You just missed it. So next time you have an evaluation training session, you should attend because it'll be excellent. It's worth your time. So thank you so much for the facilitators. Y'all did a great job. Appreciate it. Upcoming events. Did you know? Yep. Next round of contest is March the 5th. And guess who? Barbie's going to be representing R61. Andre is going to be representing K42. And Linda's going to be representing K41. So we just love everyone there to support us, to cheer us on. Saying, woo, go, you can do it. Yeah.
And Mary Nord's going to be representing us too in the speech contest.
Oh, yes. I just talked about the evaluators, but Mary Nord's going to be there too.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. It's going to be exciting. We're going to be sitting on the edge of our seats. Oh, you just have to be there. And our next club meeting is March the 18th. And not only Dr. Andre Red is going to be our Toastmaster. And the theme is called March Madness. So look out. A lot of madness is going to be going on that. Yes, let's start calling our meetings events. So when we advertise our club, instead of saying meetings, let's start calling them events so that we can get more excitement, more people coming and checking out. Oh, event. Because when you say event, yeah, a lot of people sign up to go to events. So let's start calling our meeting events. I just want to remind you too, if your link is not working from the agenda, just use the link on the front page and it'll just take you right onto this wonderful, awesome Taste of Success meeting. And remember, you can sign up for the conference. The difference conference is coming up May 13th and 14th. It's going to be online and it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that conference. And as you know, our area director is here tonight. So let's be on our P's and Q's tonight. Say hello to David. He's our area director. Hi, David.
David.
Thank you so much for being here. Give us an A. We want an A. And then it's time for membership renewals. So I'll let Andre talk about that when it's his turn to speak. So we have several club incentives coming up. So we have the best Toastmaster theme, and Kirby, he will explain that one.
Not Kirby, Cribby.
Cribby will explain that. Oh, Cribby. So sorry, Cribby. That's your new nickname, Cribby. Oh,
I like it. I like it.
Instead of Dr. Spock, we call you Cribby. And we have the membership campaign, which Linda Maniscalco, she will explain each one, reach one. Thank you so much, Linda. And Andre will explain our bingo incentive. And I will explain our traveling trophy award. And this is how the traveling trophy award works. Every 3 months, we'll just add up your points. Every time you sign up for a role, you get a point. And at the end of 3 months, we'll see who has the most points. And see this beautiful trophy there? If you have the most points, you get the bragging rights. You'll get to hold on to this trophy for 3 months. But don't get attached, because after 3 months, you're gonna have to pass it on to the next winner. So all you do is it's simple. So in person, you'll get the trophy. But if you're online, we'll send you a beautiful certificate. And I'm thinking about putting everybody's name on the certificate so you know who's congratulating you, because we appreciate your hard work for signing up for these Toastmaster roles. And also for other things like bringing a guest, attending district events, you can get points. There's other ways you can earn your points also. And add it up to get this lovely trophy.
I would like to ask for a point of clarification, please.
Yes.
You said sign up for. So if you come to a meeting and there's not a role and you fill in, you didn't necessarily sign up for that role, correct?
But guess what? Your name is on the agenda. So you will get points today, David. Woo!
I was just asking, I wasn't saying, I was thinking that leaning forward, if you don't sign up and you fill a role, maybe you get a half a point or half the points that are available because you didn't actually sign up for it.
You know, just sign up, but you participated. I like that idea. You get a half a point. So like 2, you'll get 1 point if you didn't sign up for it, but you came to the meeting and you participate, you get a point. You'll get 1 point. I like
So,
that.
Madam President, now that our great area director for R16 has started the questions, my question to you is, if a person signs up for message, content, and physical delivery, would that be considered 2 points or 1 point?
Oh, do I have that wrote down? I just had evaluator down. That's a good point. Mhm. So we'll look at that in the future, but I just wanted to give you a good idea.
Oh, no, ma'am, we want some answers. I mean, we really would like a
Okay.
point of clarity.
We'll discuss that point system later. I
Yes.
knew,
Who's the sergeant at arms in here?
yeah, Sergeant Hard's not here. Come on, somebody mute Andre, mute him.
I'm just trying to protect the members.
It's
Oh,
not-
great one.
It's not time for you to speak yet. All right, moving on. Good question, Andre. Yes, we will address if you get 2 points or if you get 4 points. We will address that. Good point. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for those questions. Great job. And have you seen this email asking you, are you ready to level up your Toastmasters game? Have you seen that?
Yes.
3 ways you can level up your Toastmasters game. It's all up to you. See that meter? Pretend like you have a meter in your hand. Where will that dial land on? Are you green, yellow, or hot? I want everybody in the club to be hot, all fired up, all leveled up. So if you have any questions, please let me know on how you can level up your game. In conclusion, my favorite quote is by John Maxwell: teamwork makes the dream work. So we all working together, walking in step, walking in rhythm together because of teamwork. As team, we can accomplish a lot. We can accomplish plenty. We can reach our goal of reaching 30 members. We can do it. Go, taste of success. You can do it. Now, I'll stop sharing my screen because I would like Kirby to explain the Toastmaster Theme Award and who received it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Madam President. So the Toastmasters Theme Award is for the Toastmaster in fall winter FY 2021 from July through December, who provided the best theme. And those were voted on by you, the members. And we had actually a pretty good amount of folks that had voted, and it was based off of a point total from best, second best, third best, and for each position you gain points. And we'll actually doing that for January through June. And so if you haven't had an opportunity last time, you have an opportunity this next 6 months. And I think there's one more meeting with a Toastmaster vacant right now for the next 4 or 5 months. But the winner for the previous term was Samantha Cook, tailgater. So she'll end up getting a gift card, and I know that breaks on the let go some cash through his little grubby fingers, since he wants to call me Cribby. And
What was the theme? What was the theme?
It was tailgating. It was
Tailgating.
football tailgating. Yeah. So.
Hey, Sam, I voted for you 12 times, so I get half.
Ah, thank you.
The tailgate food, though, that's what I'm wondering.
Sorry.
All
We do
right.
is bring your own tailgate because we had to do it virtual, remember?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kirby.
Yeah,
So
you're welcome.
Linda,
Hi, Linda.
displaying reach one, please.
Okay, I kicked off our contest for trying to recruit members by inviting guests to each of our meetings. It'll run over 3 meetings. Tonight's the very first one in February, March, and April. April will be our open house meeting, so we're hoping to have a lot of visitors there. All you have to do is invite guests, but then your name must be attached to these guests so that I can tell who invited them. Like tonight, Norma explained that David Wells invited her.
Ooh.
Now, Yolanda, this is very important. Who invited you tonight?
Kirby.
Was it Kirby or someone else?
Is that a trick question? Is what
No,
I need
just
to
say
know.
anybody and they will love you forever.
My last name is Redd, Yolanda, just in case you misspell it.
Well, I will say that Miss Linda always reaches out in advance. She sends her emails. I even got a text message from her today.
Okay.
Such a show off.
So now look at this. We have David Wells, our member, and we have Linda Wilson, our president, already inviting one guest. So they already have 2 guests and they're heading on to our next meetings. Now, if the guest actually becomes a member, Norma, Yolanda, then they get another point. And what do these points add up to? Just a lot of points? No. The person with the most points in each of these categories, invite a guest and actually have them come, or when your guest joins the club and becomes a member, you're put into the totals for a $25 Amazon gift card for each of these categories. So if you invite a guest, but remember they have to come, and if your guest that you invited actually becomes a member in these 3 months, you can get, hey, if you're like Andre, maybe, or Linda Wilson, you could get 2 gift cards, one for each of those categories. So do not let them go ahead. You guys jump in there and make sure that you get your guests in, and that you make sure when I put out the totals every month that you have been given all the credit for all the guests. So we need to get busy. We have 2 more months left. We have March and April to get more guests in and to win these Amazon gift cards. Simple rules.
Thank you, Linda.
Madam Linda Menskowko.
Again. Woo!
Madam Linda Menskowko,
Yes.
for clarity, because I know there are people on the line like Cribby. If he brings all of his children to the meeting, I just want to make sure we have clarity on whether that counts or not.
Well, you know, maybe we need to discuss this in our officer meeting, but I would say that they must be of age to join as a member of Toastmasters, which I believe is 18 years old. So those children, maybe not, they'd be entertaining and they'd be welcome, but maybe not for this contest.
All right, there you go. Thank you, Linda.
Oh,
Okay.
but Linda Wilson, Kirby can invite his wife, his brothers, his sisters, his parents.
Please don't give him
anybody
any
that they
ideas.
want.
Please don't give him any ideas.
Oh,
I
There are
have
many
4
people
brothers and
over
sisters.
18 that Kirby knows.
wow.
All my children have ID cards of 18 or over, so.
And do they have to be already in Toastmasters?
Actually, we are going to have to, maybe not, we'll have to discuss that. I would say no, because we could definitely go ahead and refer them to another club, and they would have to meet the minimum requirements for our advanced club. But if you brought a guest, they showed up, you get that point. They joined another club, I'm not sure you can get that point because we want to have members for our club. Sorry.
All right. Good explanation, Lynn. Appreciate that. Okay, Andre, your turn. And we're over. So Andre, you have 2 minutes.
Can I share my screen, please? Emphasis on please.
With cherry on top?
With cherry on top.
Okay.
And while we're doing that, I wanted to just let the club know that right now the balance in our checking account is $810.72. And
You should be able to share.
really?
That's what it tells me.
Okay. And I need everybody to engage with me right now. What time is it?
Renewal time.
It's renewal time. Somebody type that in the chat for me, please. What time is it?
Renewal time.
Yay, yay, yay. And I am feeling so generous that I thought that I would personally pay for someone's membership. And I am going to, in all fairness, I'm going to do a spin of the wheel to see whose membership we will pay. So sit on the end of your seat, sit on the end of your seat. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
All righty, here we go.
Wait a minute. Wait.
That's just wrong. That's
That is
way
not
wrong.
Wait a minute.
Where's Walter?
Oh,
Where's Walter? Walter.
We're gonna do this
Your
fair and-
alias.
we're gonna be fair and square.
Oh, that's not right.
And
haven't
I am
my alter
paying
ego
for
yet.
WA Red. Oh, come on. Don't be a bunch of sore losers.
Boo.
Oh, man.
And then the last thing I wanted to do real quickly is to just introduce you all to the bingo contest. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody will get a copy. I'll email everybody on the renewals too. Some may want to pay for a year. Someone may want to pay for 6 months. But we've got a
Time out real quick. How
Yes,
do
sir.
you pay for a year? I didn't think international allowed that.
They don't, but we can in
Is
the.
there a way to pay for a year?
No, what you do is you just pay the club.
I didn't mean to put
And-
you on the spot, but if you know how to do it, because I would love to do something like that because it'd just be easier. I don't have to worry about renewal.
Well, if you pay it, what we do is hold the money in the bank account, and then you just don't
Everybody
have to pay the
freeze?
next round.
You froze.
I lost everybody.
Yeah, you froze, David.
Uh-oh.
David, so we would pay for 6 months, but then that next 6 months, you wouldn't have to pay again. We'd automatically just pay it for you.
Yeah, he'll be, oh, there you are.
Some people just like to pay once a year. But real quick on the bingo, this has really, I guess the way I could describe it is it pays to play. Pay to play. So anything that you're pretty much doing within the club, we want you to get recognition for it. And everything from participating in different roles to your renewals, when you bring a guest, a lot of what you've already heard tonight, even events that we've already sponsored where you chaired it, or like with the evaluation training, if you're doing things of that nature, if so pretty much, when you're submitting education awards, all of those things can get you points. And for each bingo that you complete, you get a drawing into an entry, and there will be 2 $25 gift cards. And I'd hate to have to win both of those again and pull out my magic wheel and some kind of way win again. So you better get on the stick. Madam President, back to you.
Andre, when does this start and end?
Actually, we're going to go retro, and so you'll get credit for things you've already done. So to go through the entire Toastmaster
So
year.
July 1 to June 30?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool.
Woo.
Great question, Sam. I think I was the only one that able to give you a straight practical answer on questions.
Oh, no, you're not. No,
No, you're not.
no. I'm going to be the winner.
No, I'm really a nice person. I just have to rough them up a little bit. You
Hunter
know?
is going to be the first member of a Toastmasters club that's been voted out.
Okay, I'm hoping you're having fun, Norma, because now we're getting ready to have more fun. We're getting ready to turn it over to Barb Grenade. So, oh my goodness, if you're not on the edge of your seat now, you will be. So let's give a big warm welcome for Barb Grenade. Woo!
Excellent. Well done. We're going to have to move things along because
Yes,
you're
I know.
taking a bunch of my time. No, let's go. So first of all, welcome everyone. We're already in February. I don't even know what happened to the first part of this year, but there we go. And the first thing I want to do tonight is welcome our two guests. Norma Clinton attended our evaluation training last night, and Yolanda Nicholson has come back and is filling in as table topic master. Way to go. We have great guests here. Now, Mr. Andre, before I go any further, I want to ask you to give us the word of the day right up front so everybody has the opportunity to use it.
Madam Toastmaster, the word of the day is introspect. Introspect. What good Olympian or gamer doesn't do a whole lot of introspection? So examine one's own thoughts or feelings is the definition. Examine one's own thoughts or feelings, and I'll use it in a sentence. What they don't do is introspect much about the reasons for their plight. I will put that in the chat and let the introspection begin.
So Andre, can we use introspective or introspection?
Any form of it.
Okay.
You getting it.
Excellent. Thank you, Andre, and thank you for putting that in the chat. He will also be our counter grammarian, and to save time, we're all Toastmasters and we know what things he's going to be looking for. But the one thing I am going to ask is our timer, Linda, to demonstrate what she's going to use to show the times so that our speakers and table topics speakers and, oh, she's got them, and evaluators are aware of what to look for.
Thank you, Barb. I'm the timer tonight. I have marked myself timer, so please pin me so that you can know your time. I'm not going through all the times, but I'll give you the minimum, median, and link the most time with green, yellow, and red. When you see this, you've got 30 seconds to wrap it up. Thank you.
Excellent. Tonight, it's all about contests and awards and all those things we compete at. We're in the middle of the Olympics. We just got over the Super Bowl. There's sports all over the place going on, but we're always competing, I find, and it's contest season. As Mary, Andre, myself, Linda, we all know we're in the middle of it. But there's some unusual contests, and I'll tell you about a few of them as we go. I thought of Samantha with this cell phone throwing contest in Finland. Now, there are times I've wanted to throw my cell phone, but it doesn't have to do with the phone. It's usually the person that's on it. So it's been since 2000, and it's sponsored by Mobile. And there's awards for the longest distance and the best technique. How cool. Now, they're all recycled afterwards, and the prize, a new cell phone, so you can enter next year. How cool. So we're going to enter the prepared speaking portion of the meeting. And first of all, before we even get to that, I want to say thank you to all the Toastmasters, because all our role players are here tonight and signed up. So well done. That's what I love about this club. So our first speaker tonight is Cheryl Reynolds. So Cheryl, you get ready and let me introduce you. So Cheryl is working on the persuasive speaking level 3 in persuasive speaking. The purpose of this project is to understand types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech at a club meeting. Now, Cheryl says she's persuaded that survival in today's rapid-paced world of data and information requires that we understand how we are being pursued. This is her final speech in the presentation, Mastery Level 3. If nothing else, you should leave this speech understanding the word exigence and why you probably all have it if you are here tonight. So with her title, Exigence, please help me welcome Cheryl.
Okay. Sorry, I couldn't find the unmute button, and then I realized I was already unmuted. So don't start my time yet. All right, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, tonight I want to talk about exigence, and exigence is one of my favorite words in the world. You can probably see it behind me. I can duck. And it has a lot of different meanings. I am going with the meaning that comes from classical rhetoric. So the word exigence in classical rhetoric has a particular meaning. It's about passion. It's about the introspection of understanding your own passion so that you understand what drives you to want to speak or to write, in my case, a lot of times. And it also is just the underpinning of the whole persuasive process. My exigence is because I like to tell stories, as you know, and storytelling is extremely persuasive. In fact, art may be the most difficult persuasive medium of all because you have to entertain and yet subtly persuade at the same time. And my second exigence or passion involving persuasion is that I like to teach other people the magic tricks. And so tonight I'm going to teach you some magic tricks. I started teaching these when I was working on my master's degree at K-State, and I taught composition composition classes for juniors and freshmen. These were the tricks that kind of came along with that. Now, we had a whole list of them, and I can't teach all of those in 7 minutes, but I'm going to give you my top 3. First of all, is it rhetoric or is it word magic? And one of the things that we have to understand in the world we're in today is that messaging is key. Everybody's being electronically profiled all the time. I don't know if you realize it, but based on where you are in a store, if you pick up a jar of spaghetti sauce and you get to the cash register, you may very well already have a coupon for that brand of sauce in your inbox or in your delivery method for coupons because you're so tightly profiled. Everybody is always trying to figure out how to persuade you, and that includes the news. So there are no unbiased sources. One of the tricks that I used to teach my K-State students was they would tell me, well, like encyclopedias are unbiased or dictionaries are unbiased. So I would send them to the library and I would say, I want you to look up the Boston Tea Party, and I want you to look it up in a British encyclopedia, and I want you to look it up in American encyclopedia, and you come back and tell me there are no unbiased sources, because the British encyclopedia said the Boston Tea Party people were terrorists and lawless people and needed to be arrested. And the American, of course, called them patriots. So there are no unbiased sources. And realizing that is the first step in coping with that. So rhetoric drives that experience. And it's very, very powerful, but it also has two faces. It can be used for the good. It can be used for the dark side. So just be aware of it. And even if you don't use it personally, learn to recognize it so you are not manipulated. So Shakespeare, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Okay, but is it the same to the eye? Do you like green roses? Is it the same to the ear? What about to the nose? It's hard to, it's hard to say what differences are there. And I want to challenge your perspectives just a little bit tonight. So I'm going to give you a description of a scene, and I want you to get it in your mind as I read it to you. A gift of honeyed scent blooming in the air, punctuated by a delicate explosion of pink, purple, and red blossoms, cascading artfully down the gracefully shaped porcelain vessel. Or an adorned utilitarian white container made for holding waste, interrupted by a few misplaced plants. Sorry about that. I just described to you the same setting, exactly the same, because it could be both. What I did was use 3 tricks or tools of rhetoric to describe that scene to you that I'm going to give you examples of tonight. First are details, tell some, withhold some. Choice of words, using connotation and denotation, and figurative language. One of the things I will say to you, in neither of those descriptions had any untruths. The goal is to always tell the truth, but you might not tell the whole truth. So in the positive description, I told you that the vessel was made of porcelain, that the flowers were beautiful and sweet, and that it was gracefully shaped. All truths. What I didn't tell you is that it was a toilet, that the flowers really didn't belong there, and it's made to hold waste. It's about picking the details I wanted you to focus on to lead you to the conclusion I wanted to lead you on. So the devil is in the details. What you choose to tell and what you choose not to tell influences perception. And if you don't think that doesn't happen on the nightly news every single night, then I have a bridge for sale for you in my backyard. So just give me a call. So choosing details is important, but also word choice is very, very important, because meaning is sometimes more about connotation than denotation. So an easy trick, D for dictionary, denotation. Denotation is the dictionary meaning of a word. It's the definition that we would put in the chat, for example, for the word of the day, like introspect. Connotation is very, very different, and really the more powerful of the two. It's the power of a word to suggest an emotion or a reaction. So in my example, I use the power of connotation in the positive way, like cascading artfully. The power of connotation in the more utilitarian description, like misplaced, or the word waste, or you could use a different word for waste, which would give you an even stronger connotative reaction to the situation. And then last but not least, there's figurative language. And figurative language is the mood music. It can set a tone, and that tone drives a reader or a listener to a mood, and that mood matches or strengthens the message you're trying to deliver. So once again, returning to my example, the figurative language was all in the positive one, a delicate explosion of pink and purple. Where in the negative one, I chose to really leave it very utilitarian on purpose, and I omitted all figurative language from that description. I wanted to keep it bland. So one final example for you. Nothing but monotonous rows of letters plodding across a matte black surface, walls set unevenly in the ground, making the height of the structure inconsistent and irregular, as curiously plain and forgettable as the event it is supposed to remember. Or the rich black granite remembers the names of 58,220 American patriots who fought for freedom and ultimately found their own only in death. Moving solemnly down the walkway adjacent to the silent walls, you can almost hear the voices of those whose names are etched so reverently into the eternity of the stone. A nation mourns them still. So my exigence for you is to take those rhetorical devices and don't overlook their magic. Remember that there are details that you can choose to make forefront or withhold in order to persuade someone in one direction or the other. You can make careful word choices using the power of connotation. And you can also use figurative language and recognize that it has a strong power to weave a mood. Thank you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Having come from radio and television, one of the first words we always asked was, what's your target demographics? So I understand that. And being Toastmasters, this will help us give more introspective into how we craft our speeches. So well done. So let's talk about, how many of you have heard of chess boxing? I didn't know it existed, and I can't imagine the mind that drew it up. It's held in Turkey. There's 11 rounds that alternate between 4 minutes of playing chess and then 3 minutes of boxing. Like, really? It started in 1976. Of course, it's English, and the IOC still refuses to accept it as an official sport. What a surprise. So we will get to move on to our next speaker. And I have never seen anybody change a name so quickly and become known, come into one meeting as Kirby and come out as Cribby. Wow, that's impressive. Who says we don't have power? So Mr. Ingalls, how's that, is speaking from the visionary communication path. He's doing a level 2, understanding your communication style, 5 to 7 minute speech. Now, the purpose of this project is to understand the types of persuasive speeches and deliver a persuasive speech at a club meeting. This project focuses on recognizing your preferred communication style and understanding how your style impacts your interactions with others. Kirby will be using the DISC, D-I-S-C, styles in Taking Flight, adapted and co-authored by Merrick Rosenberg, using birds who Kirby interviewed and now uses in his own life and business to be a more effective communicator. With his title, Taking Flight, let's welcome Kirby Cribby.
We all know that birds can fly. Birds know that they must first take a leap from a secure branch and into the unknown in order to fly. And if we wish to soar and reach our new heights and our closest relationships, our professions, and the other aspects of our life, we have to take that leap. Madam Toastmaster, members, and guests, today I want to share just one communication style, mine, the Eagle, Dorian, or how we might refer to as the D in DISC. There are 4 essential points to consider as I begin to discuss my DISC style. First, all are positive. And even if you are a parrot, a dove, or even an owl, each one contributes to the world in very meaningful ways. There is no need to change who you are. Embrace your style and means of recognizing and accepting your natural gifts. The third thing I'd like to remind you before I get started is that nobody is just one style. We're actually a combination of all 4 of those styles. But one is generally more dominant, and for me, that's the E. And the fourth thing I'd like to remind you of is that we can adapt to different situations through the flexibility of our styles by tapping into that. And that's Alexa going off behind me. And now DISC has existed for over 2,400 years, beginning with Hippocrates. That means old man back in the Stoic days, who described the 4 humors. And many others have influenced this understanding of DISC styles. But in 1928, almost 100 years ago, a man named William Marston wrote The Emotions of Normal People. And that's when DISC actually came into the mainstream. And we know it as we do today. So the dominant D in this style is focused on achieving results. And that's what I'm all about. You see, I favor action over planning, and am very guided by a long-term vision and a very big picture of a vision like you see behind me. And I seek challenges and take big risk, as you might see with these medals running ultra marathons. And I can quickly begin to size up situations or develop a decisive course of action when it comes to that. I also have a tenacity and a natural confidence that allows me to accomplish some of the most demanding objectives that I'm faced with. I'm very assertive. I'm going to be direct and competitive. See, I hate wasting time, and I want straight answers. And I'll call it like it is. I'm a self-starter who loves to challenge the status quo. I like to thrive in positions of power, and I actually seek to control my own destiny. I don't want to leave that up to anybody else. And so if you were to walk into a room and you were to see the eagle, Dorian, over here on my left, or yeah, my right, your left, he would exude some self-confidence. He would stand tall, offer a firm handshake, and maintain some steady eye contact. His tone is assertive, but very direct. He speaks with uncertainty, and when he shares his ideas. And you might consider him an expert when you first run into him and you get that first impression. And he dispenses with all the niceties and just gets to the point. He doesn't like fluff, right? So cut to the chase and ask for what you want, because he doesn't have time for that. And if you give him too many details, he's gonna get a little impatient. He loves to hand out suggestions, and he'll impose his own opinion upon others, and sometimes his will when he's at his worst. Sorry if I've done that to you. Understanding my communication styles allows me to kind of reach for the highest potential that I have. And as Dorian, Andre says that's his alter ego, maybe. That eagle comes to life. And I know that I've got this really thin filter between thinking and speaking. And so this means that I'm perceived as bluntly insensitive, and reminding myself to ask more questions and maybe just softening my tone a little bit is a good thing. I'm pretty fast paced, which can lead to a lot of poor decisions sometimes. And so I have to slow down. And obviously my reactive nature can save the day in a crisis, but not every day is an emergency. And so I have to exercise some listening patience before I begin to anticipate the words that are going to come out of your mouth before you even say them. See, my intense drive for results allows me to achieve a lot, but it causes me really a high level of stress. And some people notice that even in this room right now. And I have to be very, very deliberate about resting and enjoying those rewards that I am very dear about. My confidence is actually a very good thing, but sometimes, don't tell nobody, it comes across as arrogant when I overuse it. So my mind's usually made up because of my values, but I also have to recognize your abilities and your contributions. So I have this robust stature, and I can intimidate people and prevent some of the best ideas from emerging. And if I'm aware of my body language, and sometimes smiling goes a long way for the guy like me. My best desire is to seek leadership positions, and sometimes I can limit others' opportunities when I do that. And then that also creates dependency, which also levels up that stress that I experience. So I'm going to have to sidestep and let others lead. Maybe delegate a little bit more or share in decisions. I'm going to add a level of candor to every conversation that we have. And without my personality style, groups will get off track or lose sight of the big goal. And without me, they may have difficulty maintaining focus. And so in closing, I urge you to take a few minutes. Go to takeflightlearning.com and complete your assessment. Embrace your DISC style. Come to a level of understanding so you can best internalize and apply all these styles in your career and life. Take a leap and take flight, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dorian. It's good to hear it. And I'll tell you, years of being a head coach, I, of course, have some Dorian in me because we're competitive. But that means you can manage it. So, and with our speakers too, I'm encouraging everybody to give them feedback, whether it's in a chat or an email, because that's one thing we all like is how do we learn? So let's talk about a little contest that I had no idea existed. Have you ever heard of extreme ironing? No kidding. There's a group that takes an iron and an ironing board to remote, dangerous places, and they tour the US, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia, and South Africa. And the last one I saw them do was skydiving with the ironing board and the iron. Like, I just want to know how long the cord is. Unbelievable. So let's move on to our third speaker. I'm looking forward to this. Our third speaker is otherwise known as, Zoom Master Supremo, but we know her as Terry Ann Porter. Working in Presentation Mastery, Level 4 elective, building a social media presence. So the purpose of this project is to apply your understanding of social media to enhance an established or new social media presence. And last month, Terry Ann had the honor and pleasure of a professional speaking opportunity. She did awesome. Along with preparing for the speech itself, she took to her established social media to promote the event and her. Tonight, Terry Ann will share her successes and the lessons she learned. So with her speech, Did They See Me? Please help me welcome Terry Ann.
Get on social media, they said. You need a social media presence, they said. How? I said. Why? I asked. What do I post? I lamented. I have been online for many years. I once had a MySpace page. I created my personal Facebook page on April 5th, 2008. I have personal business accounts on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. I have a YouTube channel. I have a mailing list, and I'm on LinkedIn. No, I do not yet do TikTok. I don't think I can do those dances. I understand that many people use social media for a variety of reasons. I use it to keep up with family and friends. I follow a lot of local businesses for their sales. Sometimes these posts catch my attention, and other times I scroll right past them. And I completely ignore any posts filled with drama and politics. I have maintained a mindset that social media is, as the name implies, social. It's not really serious. It's a place for couch potatoes to give their unsolicited and often unknowledgeable opinion of everything from their neighbor's dog to how the world should be run. Of these opinions, I really don't care. However, I have been learning, and I was strongly encouraged last month to try to see the true business side of social media. I set out to learn more about that. Over the past 60 days, I started documenting what was happening with my accounts. I wanted to see for myself if these platforms were an effective use of my time and effort. I came away with several lessons, 2 of which I chose to focus on. With a little research, I found that each platform offers reports that tell you what time of day your posts are viewed and the demographics of the people who interact with you. In all these areas, my largest audience consists of women 45 and over, with most being 55 to 64. 88% of my followers are in the United States, but only 15% of those are in the metro Kansas City area. Most interactions take place between 6 and 8 p.m. That's usually when I want to turn my computer off. They're getting on. As I studied these numbers and I talked with others, I came to one very clear realization. You have to be consistent in your posting. Platforms change their patterns to determine what you get to see. Even if you follow someone, the platform may edit their settings and you won't see their posts. You have to post a lot to help ensure others see you a little. So lesson number 1 is post consistently. Lesson number 2, use video and images. Forbes recently reported that 91% prefer interactive and visual content over text-based posts. Short videos are highly effective, under 2 minutes. Think table topics. Users will spend 88% more time on a website that contains a video. One company reports 1,200% more shares of videos than of images and text combined. With that in mind, I co-host a weekly Facebook Live event with Sherry Berger, which is then also shared to my YouTube. This week we completed episode 75. How's that for consistency? These live events are 30 minutes, and we have a number of regulars who join us and participate through the comments. I have in the past done occasional short videos, but I am now intentionally and consistently doing a 3 to 5 minute Monday tea time moment at 2 p.m., where I am offering a break from the Monday chaos to take a breath and share what I hope is a positive message. Making these changes, I have noticed approximately a 10% increase in followers, and that I'm now maintaining a nearly 50% interaction rate on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Because of the encouragement from the presentation I did last month, I started to offer free downloads of worksheets and PDF booklets. And to get it, you have to sign up for my email list, right? This is where I saw the biggest growth. That list has tripled over this period of time. But even with the live postings, my YouTube channel has remained stagnant. But there are analytics. When it comes to numbers, these really confuse me. For example, just 2 weeks ago, my numbers dropped by 2. The report shows no unsubscribers, and that I gained 5 new subscribers. Huh? By far, what I find most interesting, though, in my YouTube reports is my highest ranking video, one that I made 2 years ago, and it's still viewed today. It's the one on the basics of using Zoom. Reviewing my numbers over the last 60 days, I have determined that I am being seen, but not followed. Does that make this effort a failure? I looked up the definition of failure. It is defined as a lack of success. I looked up the definition of success, which is the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. After much introspection, I reminded myself of the purpose of this whole thing. It was not to become an overnight social media superstar. That'll happen later. It was an opportunity for me to learn more about social media and how to use it more effectively. Dave Willis is quoted as saying, "Don't use social media to impress people, use it to impact people." In an effort to become more consistent and impactful in my posting, I have recently hired a virtual assistant who is now reviewing all of these analytics and will be working together to determine a more effective posting plan. Therefore, I am choosing to look at my social media presence as an upcoming success. If you are so inclined to check out my social media, I will put a document in the chat with links to the various platforms so that you, if you so desire, may like, follow, or subscribe. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Terry Ann. And being one of the privileged ones to attend that event, she did an amazing job at it. So congratulations. I will now ask Miss Linda Maniscalco, may we have a timers report for our speakers? But you'll have to unmute because the lip reading thing isn't working well.
There you go. Hello. Cheryl Reynolds spoke for 8 minutes and 59 seconds. Kirby Ingalls spoke for 7 minutes and 51 seconds, and Terry Ann Porter spoke for 7 minutes and 52 seconds.
Thank you. And going from longer speeches to shorter speeches, put on your introspective hats as we think about our impromptu speaking. Tonight, we have a guest Toastmaster, Yolanda Nicholson. She doesn't know that this is one of the requirements to becoming a member, is going to be our table topics master for tonight. So please help me welcome Yolanda.
Thank you so much. I do not recall myself being a guest. I feel like I am part of the family. So today I am part of Taste of Success because we are all successful. Today, it is time to slow down, introspect, and prepare to reflect on how you move through life. In keeping light of today's theme, which is contest, I would ask a select member a question regarding contest. And I want you to reflect on it regarding your life. Who would love to volunteer for my first question? All hands
Andre.
in the air. That was Kirby?
No, Andre said something.
Andre, sorry. He talks about you so much, just automatically thought about you as. So Mr. Andre, if you were to replace an athlete, who would that athlete be? And why?
I had a dream. I had a dream that I saw the snow and it was cold and it was frosty. And I could see myself on that board like Shaun White. Get out of my way, Shaun White. Here comes red. White replaced with red. It doesn't get any better than that. Yolanda, I could see myself doing that, going up that hill, turning that triple somersault, coming back down, going around in a 180. And baby, I could see myself coming up with some moves that the world has never seen. So Shaun, dude, I respect you. I love you. I honor you. But Andre Red, it's a new sheriff in town. And then I wake up and I remember I'm afraid of heights. Madam Table Topics Master.
In the introspect, it all came back to him. He thought about the damage that he could do to his body, and he changed his mind. Next question. May I have a volunteer? Barb, thanks for volunteering. What gets you excited about a contest and why? Any contest.
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmaster guest, I have a confession. I am an adrenaline junkie. I had to do some severe introspection to find out why I'm so much against time management. And it turns out that my whole life, I've always pushed the limit so I could get that rush to compete, whether it's against myself or even more importantly, against others. It started when I was little against my brothers. I was the only girl in the entire neighborhood, and I had to win. Couldn't head coach for all those years without having a desire, a need to win. And I remember standing on the sidelines Friday night under the lights, time's run out. We're going to tie the game for the 2-point conversion. I have a quarterback decides to throw to a receiver who's never caught the ball. The adrenaline was flying and it hit when he caught it. And I've never forgotten it because it kicks the adrenaline up every time I recall it. So it doesn't matter the contest. Why do you think I still enter speech contests? Is it to win? No, it's for the rush of adrenaline. And I'm going to try my best to win because then, you know what? I get to go to the next level and get more adrenaline. So being an adrenaline junkie drives me. And that's why I love to enter any type of contest. Madam Table Topic Master.
Wow, that was invigorating. I was excited just listening to the introspection. How awesome. Next volunteer, Miss
Mary.
Norma. I see that you're just jumping out of your seat, ready to respond.
Yay, Miss Norma.
Question for you, should you accept a challenge? How do you celebrate when you have won a contest or a race? How do you celebrate when you win a contest or a race?
Are you asking me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not real competitive. I just love to play. And when the girls and I get together, we just play the game. But I do have to tell you, I received the Quantian of the Year award and shocked the tar out of me because I was not expecting it. And I got up and I said, I'm speechless. Thank you. And sit down. And that's how I win. I don't actually ask to win. I'm just here to serve and to help. And that's my goal. Thank you. Back to you.
Well, you are absolutely a winner, being present and volunteering to take on that challenge. Congratulations. How awesome is that? So in introspect, going forward, when you win the next award, you will already know how to accept it.
That's my goal.
Great job, great
Bring
job.
it to Toastmasters, and then I'm going to say, hey, that's part of one of the pathways.
See, that's one of your speech. You can-
Right on. Thank you.
I'll be excited to hear that. How wonderful. That is very awesome. for you.
Mary Nord. Mary Nord.
Last but not least, Mr. Kirby, I know you're waiting on me.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
have to find you a doozy one. Let's
Andre's a doozy.
see. If you had to teach something besides running or racing, what would you teach?
I would have to teach baseball. Baseball is my very first love. I grew up just enjoying the game, enjoying putting on the uniform, imagining getting out there, learning from the coaches, being mentored by them, that entire process, the success, the failures that come along with the game. Because if anybody knows anything about baseball, for most pro athletes strike out 1 out of 4 times, so they fail more than they succeed. But when you do succeed, it's usually in clutch situations. I've learned a lot of life lessons from the game, to include where I actually fell away from the game for a little bit because of certain types of people, but fell back in love with the game once I began to officiate. And I spoke a lot about that during my last speech in Toastmasters. I think the thing about the game that I love the most and what I really enjoy teaching is the respect for the game. You know, the not doing too many bat flips and trying to show up other people. Otherwise, you might get one high and tight up in the face and knocked down on the dirt. And the other part of the game that I love the most and that I would really enjoy teaching is that you never come home with a clean uniform. And as a boy, that was right up my alley. Table topics, master.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful and very insightful. Overall, the theme for a table topic is not really long. All it is keep shining, keep running, and keep winning. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Yolanda. May we have a timer's report, please?
Yes, let's see. Andre spoke for 1 minute, 9 seconds. Barb spoke for 1 minute, 41 seconds. Norma spoke for 41 seconds. And Kirby spoke for 1 minute, 38 seconds.
Excellent, thank you. And moving on to, let's find out how we did tonight. So it's time for the evaluation portion of our meeting. I get to ask I love being able to tell David to do things. David, would you please unmute and take over the evaluation portion of the meeting? Let's welcome our area director as well as the general evaluator for tonight, David Wells.
Thank you, Madam Table Topic, or Madam Toastmaster. Sorry, I was still on the table topics. Anyway, that was great. And so we're going to do, according to your agenda, this is the first time I've played a role in your meeting other than being an evaluator. Is the agenda correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So we have, for our guests, we have 2 ways that we do the evaluations. In our club that we do on Saturday morning, we have one person comes up and does the content and the speech in a whole. The advanced club has 2 different evaluators, and they have a person that does the speech content, and then they also have the physical content. So that's something different that they do here that other clubs might not be doing. We do have, according to this, it looks like we have the same person doing both, which is kind of unique from the last couple of times I've been in the meeting. So our first speaker is evaluating, let's see, Cheryl Reynolds, who spoke on Exigence. Great information. I really kind of put some introspective to me, especially how I view my news. Anyway, we're going to have Samantha Cook, DTM, go ahead and evaluate the physical and the message part of Cheryl's speech. Where are you at? There you go, Samantha.
I'm here. Thank you, David. And Cheryl, thank you for a wonderful speech on exigence. As David mentioned, I am doing both the physical and the message content. And so you'll hear both pieces interweaved throughout my evaluation. Your speech helped me introspect on the impact of words and rhetoric that I have on myself from listening, and also outwardly to the public and how they look at things. Your speech was to be a persuasive speech, and I think you hit the nail on the head with persuasion. You really did very well with having very eye-catching and informative slides, a lot of good use of color and examples to illustrate your points on details, choice of words, and figurative speaking for what rhetoric or word magic happens in different situations. You incorporated the word of the day. You're giving examples to persuade us were outstanding in terms of the toilet with the flowers. That really hit home with me in terms of how you can look at something from two completely different viewpoints and describe the same thing without being wrong. I think that was an excellent example. You're always very good with your pace of your speech. This was no exception. Very well spoken. And your vocal variety, I think, was good for what this speech was. I don't know where you could have made it, higher or lower accordingly, but I think you were really spot on with that. And good use of analogies such as devil in the details that people are very much used to hearing, and it evokes an emotion as well. Some things I thought maybe you could think about. You used news and media a lot as your example for showing how this word magic, how this rhetoric works. Maybe consider focusing on some others. Social media. You heard Terry Ann talk a lot about social media. You definitely can see influence and use of words there. Politicians and lobbyists, as we know, are masters with the use of words and how they're trying to convey their point. CEOs, I would also say, use a lot of rhetoric in their speak. PR firms, there's a lot of different examples that you can get in addition to news and media, which all of us definitely understand. One thing I'd say for challenging yourself, maybe if you had an exigence background behind you and there was a lot to that plus your slides. Maybe if you're doing slides, think about just having kind of a plain background so you don't have that competing visual going. One thing I also wanted to point out is the definition of exigence, as I looked this up, is the event or occurrence that prompts the rhetorical discourse or discussion. You alluded to the spaghetti sauce in the store. And so I kind of think of that in terms of marketing. Maybe think of events like the COVID outbreak, the Olympics, et cetera, and how those words play in exigence. So great speech, loved this, very informative. Could definitely tell you knew your subject matter and did a great job with your persuasive speech. Thank you very much.
Great feedback. Good job. Our next evaluator, evaluating Kribby, also known as Kirby, in his speech. And his was taking flight, which was really interesting, is going to be Joanne Monroe, DTM. Would you please give Kirby some introspective information on his speech?
Thank you, David, Mr. General Evaluator. Kirby, I really liked the speech. And I think to start out with talking about your physical presence, you did a great job of using your gestures. You had physical presence within your camera view, so we could actually see your gestures. Whereas like me, you just see my head, but because you were standing, we could see basically, all your movements, which were very good. I liked how you had a few props. You turned to the wall and showed the picture and your medals and talked about them as part of your competitive nature. So I thought that was good that you had those available to include in your speech. I also noted that you got closer when you were talking about being bluntly insensitive. So you had that movement towards your camera to really emphasize that. And you also varied your speed when you talked about fast paced, you were saying that fast. And when you then said you need to slow your pace, you actually slowed that down. I think you also did a good job of varying the volume of your voice too. There were a couple times when you were maybe more excited, and so you had that tone that I really liked. And then you got softer when you were trying to emphasize that you maybe needed to step back a little bit, from your direct nature. One thing I would just caution you to watch is I noticed you were maybe rocking or moving back and forth a little bit more than you may be aware of that you were doing. But overall, your physical presence was very good. When I introspected about your speech's message, I found I was intrigued and almost wishing I could be more like Dorian the eagle. I liked how you explained about what the eagle, Dorian was for the dominant aspect of the DISC assessment. And you said you were going to give us 4 points, which you did. You mentioned the eagle, Dorian. You said you were that you would like to embrace your style and the gift of whatever that communication style is. You also said that no one has just one style, and also that we can adapt by being flexible with our style. So I think that led us into the rest of your message to really see how you're going to encapsulate each of those different points. You start out really giving us a good definition of what the dominant style was. You touched on that it's achieving results, being direct, competitive, taking risks. So all those different aspects that you mentioned, but then you also shared that there was some maybe a little bit negative where people may think you're insensitive and that you may need to work on that. One thing I thought, and I did find it kind of hard to find something to really have you work on, but one thing I thought maybe you could have shared with us a little bit more about how you've adapted your dominant style to other situations. So when you've had to be more flexible and adapt, to the different situations in either Toastmasters or in your professional life. Overall, it was a great speech. As I mentioned, through introspect, I really enjoyed thinking about how could I be more dominant in my communication style. And I liked at the end how you challenged us to take the assessment and shared with us the website. So thank you for that thoughtful and refreshing view on your communication style, Mr. General Evaluator.
All right, very nice job. Very nice. Wrapping up our evaluation portion of this meeting, the formal evaluation, I should say, evaluating Terry Ann on her speech. Did they see me? Is DTM Linda Wilson. Linda, please give Terry Ann some feedback. Where is she? Oh, she's behind. There she is. Oh, there's two of them. Now I'm kind of confused.
Great job, Terry Ann. I have been doing some introspection about your speech. I love your title. Did they see me? I was sitting on the edge of my chair just waiting to find out what your answer would be. I will use the tool called start off with the physical delivery first. Let's take a look at your physical delivery of the speech. Oh man, you have some great hand gestures, body movement, and strong, clear voice. My favorite gesture was when you moved into the monitor to make your point and your head was sort of tilted to the side. That just drew me in and made it more engaging. Your tone of your voice made it exciting and engaging. I would have loved for you to have used your prop. For example, pulling out your princess crown. If not the princess crown, some type of prop to help get your point across and make it even more entertaining and engaging. My introspection about your message content, I think you should get an A because you followed exactly the instructions, your objectives in your speech. To me, the message I got was that you figured out how to use social media and you gave us steps and points on how to do that. So now I feel confident enough that, hey, I should try it. I can do it too. Terry Ann did it. So great information, great instructions. You told us the why do social media, the who, the what, and the how. The why is because you can share that you, like you said, that you went and walked the dog. You can, and who, it's for even the couch potato can come out and share what they've been doing. It's a good way for people to express themselves. And yet what? You can talk about any and everything. And you explain the steps on how. I love the fact that the facts that you incorporated in your speech, those were interesting. And you answered the title, you answered that. You said you were seen, but not followed. I said, oh, there it is. There is the answer to your question. And you also told us that the reason why we use social media is to have impact on others. I thought that was the key takeaway for me, is that I can have impact on people using social media. In conclusion, you are a master speaker when it comes to your voice, her reflections, your tone of voice is engaging, and the content that you provided for us was very helpful, very informative. And during my introspection, I came up with an idea. What would it be like if she would start her speech off with some music, like an intro, like Rocky, you having that rock, some kind of music coming to introduce you, and then some music at the end. Great job. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Nice job. Nice information for Terry Ann. All right. Can I get a timer report, please?
Yes, David. Sure. Let's see. Sorry. Samantha spoke for 3 minutes, 58 seconds. Joanne spoke for 4 minutes, 43 seconds. And Linda Wilson spoke for 3 minutes, 44 seconds.
Very good. And I forgot to mention for our guests that the evaluation normally in a Toastmasters meeting is a 2 to a 3 minute evaluation, but the way they have it broken out here is the physical content is 1 to 2 minutes, and then the message content is 2 to 3. So it's generally a 4 to 5 minute evaluation. I just wanted to clarify that because people are thinking, wow, that's over time. Anyway, very good job, Linda. Thank you for your timer report. Now, we come to the WAG. Now, in military terms, and I'm sure Kirby, AKA Cribby, can attest to this, a WAG is a wild ask guess. But we have a WAG, and it is the word master, the ah counter, and the grammarian. So, Mr. I'm late Andre, will you please tell us how we did in our WAG today?
Mr. Dr. General Evaluator, I would be delighted. I'm going to start with the not so good news and work my way up if that's okay. Ah counter. Our favorite words on tonight was So got second place, but that word that we loved tonight was and. A lot of sentences starting with and, but that's okay. Because Norma, with our grammar, I'm gonna take permission as the grammarian to not talk about what I didn't like. I'm gonna talk about what I heard that I really liked. And in honor of Valentine's Day, one of my heroes, he said, you never know what's in a box of chocolate. You never know. You never know. It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, Norma. And just in case you all don't know, no, it's not Martin Luther King. No, it's not Abraham Lincoln. It is Forrest Gump. Some words that I heard that I really liked: electronically profiled, cascading artfully, delicate explosion of pink, red, and purple blossoms. Those were all donated by Cheryl Reynolds. And I love the name of this book, so I put it down, Emotions of Normal People. How many of you all just want to go out and get that book, Emotions of Normal People? And that was by Kirby Ingalls. Barb just had me in awe when she talked about extreme ironing. Some of us don't want to do any ironing, and she's talking about extreme ironing. And then Yolanda, I'm sorry, this one's Terry Ann. Couch potatoes, giving their unsolicited opinion. Oh, I got a few people I can use that one on. And then the last one was given by Yolanda, reflect on how we move through life. And then the last report is on the word of the day, introspect. And let me know if I missed someone, because we were using it quite a bit. I used it. I heard Cheryl use it a couple of times. I heard Barb use it. I heard David use it a couple of times. I heard Linda Wilson use it a couple of times. And where is Yolanda? Yolanda, turn your camera on. You know what? Usually, because getting an ATOS is not an easy task, usually we'll allow a person to take on a role, and she didn't just take timer or ah counter. She got all the points in that category, and she went to table topics. But what really got her to the finish line, and by the authority and power invested in me as the gatekeeper for our members, not only did she use the word of the day, but she used it the most in the meeting tonight. So Yolanda, you are officially cleared by me to get started immediately. I know, don't want, get your Kleenex. And that is my report, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you. I'm late, Andre. I'm going to give my evaluation, and then I will return control of the meeting back to our Toastmaster for the evening. We started almost on time. I'm late Andre. I love the theme, competition. Life is about competition. Great speeches, a lot of great information. So in retrospect, I understood some of the things. I'm like, I do the same thing. So it was great information. Fantastic table topics. I absolutely love the theme, the questions of the table topics made people think. We had amazing evaluations. I love to listen to the evaluators in this club provide the information, and it is a skill that I am still developing, and we have some masters in our ATOS Toastmasters meeting. I love books. Whenever somebody tells me about a book, I'll write it down, and I just can't wait for the next meeting. And I hope you enjoyed this meeting for the guests. And if you have any questions, stick around, because the meeting is almost over, but they always have some type of a icebreaker or just a, get together after the meeting, because that's the best part of the meeting, if you ask me. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So let's move on to the last contest I'm going to tell you about. And speaking of books, I first read this in one of my favorite series is The Chronicles of St. Mary's. And this was in there, and it was one of those ones when I read it, I had to go look it up and find out if it's true, and it is. Gloucester, England, double Gloucester cheese, okay? They have a cheese rolling competition every year. And the MC starts with a 9-pound wheel of double Gloucestershire cheese and rolls it down the hill at the speed of up to 70 miles an hour, where participants chase the rolling cheese down the hill. Yeah. Now, it usually creates chaos and turns violent, with dozens of people getting injured every year. And I loved it in the book. This character was asked what she thought of the contest. She got knocked out within the first 30 seconds and never saw anything. That's why I had to go and find out if it was true. And it is. Who knew? So there's a wild world of wacky contests out there, and we may think of ways of creating our own. So thank you for being with me through this journey. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for comments from our guests. And yes, Yolanda, you're still considered a guest temporarily. So would you like to give us your feedback and joining us on this meeting?
As always, this is an extraordinary gift. You absolutely are top notch, and I learned from each and every one of you. Do know I have a list here that I'm going to navigate through, that I'm going to utilize through with my other teams as well, and share those best practices. Thank you so much for continuing to share your knowledge, and I love how you all participate. I forget what's this called. What's this? Yes, what is that? Long prosper. I think I fit right in, actually. So, hey.
Yeah.
You do. You do.
Excellent. Thank you. And Norma, how wonderful for you to join us both last night and tonight. Do you have any feedback for us?
Can I come as a guest and listen again?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I am enjoying you gave me so many ideas that I want to share, as David invited me because he knows I'm working on trying to improve and make our clubs fun and exciting and growing and bringing people into. This is so great, an opportunity for people to learn how to express themselves and not be afraid to speak out. So thank you so much for allowing me to be there tonight.
Oh.
Or not kicking me out like that you were kicking them out last night.
No, we wouldn't kick you out. And I was going to ask Mary Nord, since she hadn't spoken tonight, about her experience in going through the club contest and representing us wonderfully, but she has left us, so we'll just keep her in our thoughts as she goes forth. Okay, for announcements, I would be remiss if I did not mention that we lost a Toastmaster friend this last week. On Tuesday, I got the phone call. He had passed away. Mike Winkler was the president of True Talkers Toastmasters. And he was a vibrant, involved 37-year-old, leaves behind a young wife, Shannon, and his 7-year-old son, Miles. And he got COVID. And ironically, I was at the meeting, the first meeting where he couldn't make it and tested positive. And he didn't make it. So there's a district announcement going out about the funeral. And please keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. And more than anything, please stay safe. This virus doesn't care who you are. And the one thing I was so grateful for is the support. Terry Ann and I went and to the True Talkers group and just got together, and the support was wonderful and awesome. And for that, I thank you. We have the good with the bad. Okay. Now moving on to our next meeting. Our next meeting. What can I say but the late, and you know what? Come to think of it, our next meeting, Andre can't be late. You can't. You're the Toastmaster.
But it's called March Madness. So
That sucks.
if in fact you want to just go mad in whatever capacity, it can be your hat, it can be your clothing, it can be your however you manifest your madness, get ready to bring it to the table. Yay. And you know what, Madam Toastmaster, I wanted to say thank you so much to Norma and Yolanda, because what you said this meeting did for you is exactly what we're trying to do. We only meet once a month, but I tell people it's like a B12 shot for me, because I belong to another club and it gives me ideas and I leave so energized, and you know, you're just not exhausted when you leave the meeting. But anyway, thank you all so much for coming. Can't wait to have you back.
Excellent. And I'm going to give Cheryl 30 seconds. What the heck are you doing tomorrow morning, Cheryl?
The combined area contests for Division A are in the morning. So if anybody wants to come along and listen, the invites on the district calendar, please come. Andre and Barb are helping as staff in the contest, and you'll pick up a lot of good ideas and maybe give us some suggestions about how to run our contests better. We take feedback and we offer, so it's a good deal.
Thank you. And I don't know if we want to time it, but Kirby's asked for 15 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah, real quick. I won't be at the next meeting because I'll be out of town and I won't have internet connection where I'm at in Arkansas. So I do have one speech that I won't be able to give to hit level 3 and give back to ATOS. So if any club needs someone to speak, I will do it on short notice just to make it up. And it doesn't matter. I'll make room for it. And so just if you need somebody to speak, I'm available. 48 hours notice. That's it.
Coincidental, you're missing the meeting where I'm Toastmaster. Just a big coincidence, I'm sure.
No, it's not. It's not coincidence.
Okay. I knew you'd confirm that for me.
you know, one of the things we've done, and I don't know if we could do it for this club, is when we get close like that, we have one or two speeches. Excuse me. My other club, we've put together a informal meeting and say, yeah, can 5 or 6 of you come and somebody evaluate? And we've just made up a lunch meeting. So I would come and listen to you speak or evaluate you to get you that.
No, I appreciate that because I committed level 3 to ATOS this year and I'm going to be one short. So I just need to get that one in.
Kirby, you can speak at Blue Jacket, the club where the action is.
There you go.
Norma's got her hand up too. Pick me, pick me.
I'm just looking for opportunities because I'm just trying to knock them all out. So if you got something, you need space and you need people to speak, that's fine. I think that it's a benefit to the club when you have people that are willing to speak rather than having to just vacate those positions. So
With all the offers, you may be able to give a level 4 to the club by the end of the year.
yeah, I mean, if that happens, that happens. I'm not pushing for that, but I mean, I know what it's like to have a club of 8 members, and if you can get somebody to show up to speak, it's wonderful because they get to hear somebody different. So,
Cool.
Can I invite you to join our club? Not join, but come and speak.
only
I'm so excited.
Norma, I will join only if Andre pays.
Ooh,
In the wheel.
Andre has this spinner we could help you hook you up with.
No. I will pay.
So-
You absolutely no attention. Keep going, y'all.
Okay, the time is
Now that
9:03.
we're totally
I'm
out of
hitting the stop record.
good.
Oh, darn, we were recording.
Hey, this is all
Out of
record,
order.
right? That's
Out of
it.
order.
You
Oh,
got
Terry
it now.
Norma, do you see what I mean?